Hello and welcome to our pre-Christmas episode of Lagnia-Pod. I am one of your co-hosts, Dale Liesch, and I'm here with...
Ho, 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 Scott Johnson.
Brady Beatry. I didn't know how to follow that up.
Kyle Hamrick Clark.
Tommy Hicks. Bob Hubbub, Tommy Hicks.
Tommy is the Scrooge of the group today, apparently. So we're going to get started, though, since it is the final episode before Christmas. I did want to talk about our Christmas-themed cover story this week, and that is on eggnog. So
Let's talk some nog.
You'll remember a couple of weeks ago we came out with the story on raw milk and its popularity and its health benefits and whatnot. Now, 2 weeks later, we have a story about eggnog, and our milk editor, Brady Beatry, who wrote both stories, is here with us to talk about some nog action. And specifically, this story is a very boozy starts with a very boozy homemade eggnog and then kind of extrapolates from there. Tell us what happened, what's going on.
By the way, before I get into this, has the official designation of milk editor been made, or do I have time to appeal that? Or
No, all my decisions are final.
Okay.
Cards are already being printed.
We will accept an appeal for dairy editor,
Okay,
but that's under consideration.
that appeal is forthcoming.
The calcium correspondent.
I like calcium correspondent. I'll take that one over milk editor. But no, our like you said, our cover story this week on local homemade eggnog, and featured a couple of different places. Iron Hand Brewing, get to that in a second. They make their own, but the crux of the story is about a local man by the name of Tim Jordan, who makes his own eggnog from a family recipe that's been passed down from his great-grandmother, and he has never once deviated from the recipe, and he makes about 35 gallons a batch, and he hands it out. Doesn't sell it. He only gives it out to friends and family around the holidays, and he's got a very tedious process that he has to go by. I think he said year before last, he bought, I think, 7,000 Tupperware containers just for eggnog. And he's got a refrigerator in his kitchen that's entirely dedicated to the eggnog process. So he goes full in on eggnog every year. So, and he, like I said, the recipe, he never once changes it. It's very potent. I can tell you that for a fact. I happened to try some of it when we were getting our cover shot this week, and I would be willing to say if you have 2 or 3 glasses of that, it's going to be a long night.
Some people have said that it could peel paint off the walls. Is that true? Have we tested this?
I have not tested if it can peel paint off the walls, although I don't doubt it.
I don't want to drink something that, quote, peels paint off the walls.
I mean, look.
And mainly because that's what my dad would use to describe a smelly fart.
But yeah, I believe you were willing to try raw milk.
Yeah, you were.
I would 100% drink this eggnog.
Peel the paint off your intestinal lining.
Look, right. it's very. We got a little off track there. It is very, very good eggnog. It is just very strong. And the key, there was no chance I was going to get him to share any details of the recipe. I didn't think, but he actually provided his 2 keys to any good glass of eggnog that you make.
One's alcohol.
Well, of course, but in terms of the core,
I'm turning your mic
please,
off.
Please,
I've had enough of this. I'm turning your mic off.
The 2 key components for any good glass of eggnog, aside from alcohol, is homemade vanilla, and you have to ground your own nutmeg.
Wait, back up. How do you have homemade vanilla?
That's a great question. I don't know how to make homemade vanilla, but
does he grow the beans?
I believe so.
Doesn't
not
it grow on
100%.
No, it's probably he's making his own vanilla extract.
I believe that's right. The extract.
Okay.
Yeah, make your own vanilla extract and then ground your own nutmeg. Don't buy any from the store. Ground your own nutmeg. That really opens up the flavor of the eggnog, he said.
Okay. Otherwise, it's just basically custard, like melted ice cream in a glass, right?
Exactly.
With alcohol in it.
You mentioned that this is his grandma's recipe.
Great-grandmother.
Did she get run over by a reindeer?
I don't know. That's a great question.
She was drinking too much eggnog.
I didn't want to dive into that sensitive subject, but
if it's that strong, I understand why she'd been got run over by.
I haven't read your story yet, but did you bring up the reindeer running over people?
That's in my lead of the story. Absolutely.
Is it really?
Are you kidding me? I thought it was so funny.
Yeah. It's in the lead of my story. Yeah. about grandma getting run over by a reindeer.
No, it's not.
I swear to God, it is. I mean, come on, man. I couldn't talk about boozy eggnog without bringing up grandma getting run over by a reindeer.
I gotta get a leash on some of these stories, guys. I didn't realize. I apologize to the listeners.
Dale Liesch on some of these stories.
There you go.
Hey.
Kyle, hit us with that. Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Turn his mic off.
That's
Yeah,
all
that's funny.
See you after Christmas.
Cut his mic off. Lord have mercy. All right. So let's move on to Iron Hand.
Yes.
Iron Hand Brewing does its own boozy eggnog as well.
They
correct?
do. And nobody in this room will be able to get any from Tim Jordan this year. I mean, he's already booked up, so we can't get any from him. So if you still want some eggnog, you go down to Iron Hand, where they are mixing up different eggnog concoctions. And this year's is a chocolate spiced eggnog. And it sounds delicious. It's got brandy, rum, and I think vodka in it. I can't remember exactly. I have to go back and read the story, but it has been very, very popular since they introduced it. They actually introduced the chocolate spiced eggnog last year, just kind of on a temporary basis, and then this year, last year it was so popular they decided to bring it back full time.
You say chocolate spice? You talking about like Mexican chocolate spice?
Yeah,
like,
it's got
like
cayenne
chili
pepper in it.
Oh yeah,
cayenne pepper, cinnamon, all of that in it, and so owner Ben Ross, who I talked to, said that they've been experimenting over the past. I mean, all breweries experiment with different kinds of beer. That's the gist of a brewery. But they said this. They said that last year it was just so popular. They've been kind of toying with different eggnogs, and they finally found one that really sticks, and so they decided to bring it back this year.
How much do they make? Like, if I went there today, I could get some, no problem?
Yeah, you can get some, no problem. They're constantly making eggnog, and I think he said that they're going to serve it to the end of the month. This year,
and that's brandy, rum, and vodka.
I believe vodka. I know brandy and rum are in it. I think vodka is that third.
Nobody get Kyle started on Iron Hand, the person.
No, God.
He was an interesting dude.
Let's leave it at that.
He had to be careful with which hand he wiped,
Oh my God.
Having an Iron Hand.
I thought he'd have more stuff to I didn't realize I was setting him up for a joke. I apologize.
I don't know when you're going to learn to just not bring it up at all, because as soon as you mention it, he's going to have to provide 1 to 10 factoids about whoever you're talking about.
Teresa Hamrick, I know you're listening. That was your son. I just want you to know that was your son that made that disgusting joke. So I personally blame you, Teresa.
When she's not giving Kyle Hamrick all the nappy votes.
Yes.
She's flooding
she's
tuning in to the Lagnia-Pod.
I love my mama. She's great.
All right. So what you're saying is since Tim Jordan is all booked up as far as we should all go to Iron Hand and get some of that chocolate. Now, is it like dark, like chocolate?
Yes.
So it's like it's basically chocolate milk.
It's basically like an espresso eggnog, espresso martini eggnog.
Wait, there's coffee too?
Well, no, I'm just talking about like the look of it.
But you realize that a huge part of an espresso martini is the GD espresso.
Yes, I understand that. Yeah, I'm talking about just the look of it and that kind of thing. But yes, it is dark. It is chocolate, and it sounds very, very good.
I'm not typically a huge eggnog fan. My wife, she loves eggnog. It's the only way she drinks bourbon is if I put it in eggnog.
Yeah.
For her. But I will try and enjoy. Chocolate spiced eggnog. That sounds amazing. And Tim Jordan's eggnog sounds really good too. So
look, I've tried Tim's. It is very, very good. I'm very eager to try Iron Hand, their eggnog. And I mean, there's a lot of different places here locally that they also try to make their own homemade eggnog and everything. But trying to get people to tell you how they make their eggnog or what's in their eggnog, people are very protective of their eggnog recipes.
I mean, isn't it just egg yolks and milk? It's a custard that you add booze to.
It is, but the process people go through and each person has like 1 or 2 little ingredients that they think set theirs apart from everybody else, and they don't want to share that. So they're very protective of those eggnog recipes.
Okay. Well, on that note, we will get ready. We will bundle up and get ready for sports in the next segment, and we'll also be putting a muzzle on Kyle for the rest of the episode. So we'll see you guys in just a few minutes.
Thank God.
Down in our Alabama town, land got baby is For just $6.50, it's all the news, keeping local folks in the loop. Oh, Lagnia Daily, every single morning, catching up on stories while the coffee's pouring. The local truths on every page, news for the folks of every age.
It's just $6.50 a month for Mobile's daily news, Lagniappe Daily. Get signed up now at lagniappemobile.com and help keep Mobile funky.
Down in our Alabama town, Lagniappe Daily's on the beat. For just $6.50, it's all the news, keeping local folks in the loop. Oh, Lagniappe Daily, every single morning, catching up on stories while the coffee's pouring. The local truths on every page, news for the folks of every age.
And we're back with Tommy Hicks, and we're going to talk about sports. And we've got a cavalcade of college sports action to talk about. And we're going to start with how the Jags finished their season. And spoiler alert, they beat Western Michigan in the Salute Our Veterans Bowl in Montgomery.
That's correct.
So that's their second. We're looking at the second straight bowl win, second straight winning season,
third straight winning season.
Third straight winning season. Don't sleep on the Jags in the future. They seem to be a pretty good team.
They can be a pretty good team. They got some key elements coming back. Supposedly, we're still in the transfer portal time zone right now, so there's a possibility they could lose some more players. Currently, they have lost 6 to the portal. The good news is that Gio Lopez, their redshirt freshman quarterback, has already said he's coming back. He considered entering the portal, but he is coming back for next season. If I correctly read a social media post yesterday, running back Kentrell Bullock is also planning to come back for his final season. So that's two good elements to the offense right there that they'll have. Of course, they're losing Fluff Bothwell. Fluff came here out of Aniana. He only had 4 college offers, none up from Power 4 conferences, and had a huge year for the Jags. And now he's got like 16 to 20 Power 4 conference teams coming after him. So it's going to be interesting to see where he lands.
It's a way to build your resume there, brother.
Not bad.
Man, that's good. That's good for him.
We had a great year. And so, but they'll lose also Jamal Pritchett, the leading receiver. It's going to be interesting to see what the Jags do in the portal.
Right.
They're not going to just sit there and sit on their hands. They'll bring some people in, and they've already got to recruit a tight end, a high school kid from Mississippi that's coming in. So, we'll see where it goes from there. But obviously a good first year for Major Applewhite, as in his debut as head coach of the Jags, and looks like the future is pretty good.
I think, I know I expected kind of a downturn in my expectations for South's football team this year went down a little bit with Kane leaving for Alabama to be defensive coordinator at Alabama. But I was very surprised by the way they played. Had a couple of games turned out differently down the stretch. If they had not given up big leads in some games, you could have been looking at a championship run for the conference for them. So they played exceptionally well. Gio Lopez is a stud at quarterback, and I'm glad he's coming back. So all in all, a really good season for a team that I root for just because I live here, and it's fun to watch them. So that's a great season for the Jags, and I look forward to seeing what's going to happen next. We're going to talk about now some more college football, and this is how the playoffs have come out now that we have our first ever 12-team playoff. And spoiler alert again, Alabama did not make the cut, correct?
That's last report. They did not make the cut. Yeah.
Darn. But what are we looking at?
Well, we're looking at getting started with the basically the first round of the play-in games, I guess is how you would phrase it. I'm trying to find my games here on Friday.
Oh, so the games are starting this week, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
So you've got what? Notre Dame against who are they playing?
Indiana.
Notre Dame is playing in-state rival Indiana.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Because it was funny. Somebody brought this up. Pat Greenwood brought this up in the press box the other night. When Indiana, the state of Indiana is at football, and the state of Alabama is now a basketball state.
Yeah, you got Auburn as number 2 in basketball, Alabama number 6 in basketball, and then you got Notre Dame and Indiana playing each other in the college football playoffs. That is quite the turnaround. I would not have expected that coming from 20 years ago. That would not have been the case. So
no, they're quite flipped.
Yeah.
Hell, last year wouldn't have been the case.
True. It's been a really
Alabama and Auburn both in basketball were pretty good last year. So
they were. I mean, you're gonna have to remind me, but I'm pretty sure Alabama made it to the Final Four last year in basketball. Correct?
I think so. That was
Yes,
a rumor
you're
going
correct.
around.
Yeah. People forget that. People forget that Alabama was a Final Four
No, they
team
won't.
last year.
No, you will not allow that to
I
happen.
know.
So,
But sorry, we're getting off track. So we got Notre Dame.
Friday night, you got Notre Dame and Indiana, and then Saturday, you've got the other 3 first-round games. You'll have SMU at Penn State, Clemson at Texas, and Tennessee at Ohio State.
I think you're going to see Tennessee win. I think you're going to see Notre Dame win. I think you're going to see Texas win. What was the other game?
SMU, Penn State.
Oh, Penn State's going to win easily. Those are going to be your 4 winners that go on to the next round.
What's going to be interesting is 3 out of the 4 games, the weather could be quite the issue.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the 20s probably for 3 of the 4 games.
Yeah, but you're looking at Notre Dame, Indiana. They should both be used to weather like that.
I hope Tennessee just smacks Ohio across the field and then plants a field goal right in the middle of the O.
Plants a flag right in the middle.
I really hope
No,
that
just tear
Tennessee
down the field goal.
plants
Yeah.
its flag in the middle of the O at the Ohio
Which could be a
Stadium.
felony.
It could be, yeah.
soon.
I mean, that's a win-win for me. Tennessee players get hit with a felony, and they beat Ohio State.
I mean,
Could
that's
not
like
have been
a
better.
Friday night, Saturday night for Georgia's.
Wow.
That's good.
So the winners of those games go on to play in four actual bowl games that will decide who goes to the championship.
Well, SMU Penn State winner will play Boise in the Fiesta. The Clemson Texas winner will play Arizona State in the Peach Bowl. Tennessee Ohio State winner will play Oregon in the Rose, and the Indiana Notre Dame winner will play Georgia in the Sugar.
Here's what I don't get, and I'm upset about. Oregon was the number 1 seed. They were undefeated, and they have to play the winner of Tennessee Ohio State when the winner of Penn State SMU is right there. For the I don't like the way the seeding worked. I think Oregon kind of got shafted, and I know nobody's going to cry a river for Oregon. I get it, but I feel like
Stop it now.
he doesn't even have a microphone.
No,
we took
he
his
doesn't need one.
We literally took his microphone away, and he still won't shut up. He's still singing. It's unbelievable.
So here
Dead air.
I mean, I don't know what you expect at this point.
Ring us in, Brady. Ring us in.
Okay, we're going off the rails. Let's get to somewhere else.
Getting back to the whole seeding thing. I mean, Oregon.
I am going to kill you, Scott.
This is going off the rails tremendously. But I mean,
sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, look, the seeding is what it is. I mean, Oregon's the number 1 team in the country. They've proven that, time and time again this year. I don't. You could make the case that they may have, like you said, gotten shafted by the seeding. But I mean, if you're the best of the best, you got to beat the best, And so I don't.
What's the point of being the number 1 seed?
They buy in the first round.
Yeah, but you could be number 4 and get a bye in the first round. So
I mean,
I think whoever plays Boise State's going to be in the catbird seat for. Was that the winner of the Notre Dame Indiana game?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Notre Dame's going to get a free pass right to the.
That's Penn State.
Oh, the winner of that.
Yeah.
So I think Penn State's going to get a free pass right to the championship game.
I don't think so. I mean, Boise State is a very solid team. They've got a great run defense. I mean, they're a solid team. I think the only team that you could really point to or maybe two teams you could point to maybe being a cakewalk is Indiana and SMU, and that's just because Indiana we saw couldn't really compete with Ohio State, and SMU. I mean, even then, I don't really know that you could throw them in as a cakewalk because they did put up. They tried to come back on Clemson and put up a fight. So, I mean, I think it's a very competitive field. It's a very diverse field. You got a lot of teams in there that were not expected to be in there when the season started. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a great playoff. I really do.
Well, it would have been a lot more fun with Alabama at Penn State.
Penn State would have been amazing.
That would have been
a great matchup. Absolutely.
But if you go by the criteria that was set, then they made the right choice with SMU. And then
no, I mean, look,
beat Oklahoma and you're in.
You can't lose 24-3 to Oklahoma and expect to compete for a national title. That was the death nail. You also lost to an iffy Vanderbilt's better than they've been in years, but they went 6-6, and Oklahoma went 6. You lost to two.
It's still Vanderbilt.
You lost to two 6-6 teams. In a season you wanted to make the playoff. Like you can't do that. Even SMU's schedule is a lot easier, sure. And Boise State didn't play many people either. They beat UNLV twice.
Yeah.
And not that they're not a good team. I mean, they got the runner-up for the Heisman Trophy playing in their backfield. Like they've got some good talent. And they did what they had to do, and Alabama didn't do what they had to do. So that's what's happened. And I don't think Alabama would have made it all the way to the championship anyway.
I mean, look, if Alabama fans have a problem with it, your strength of schedule, whatever, go join the ACC, go join the Big 12, run roughshod over the competition.
We are in the Big 12 in rowing. So we've got an in.
Hey, any rowing fans complaining about the seeding?
No, Big 12. We're in the Big 12, in rowing. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Not Big 10.
But, I mean, if you have a problem with it, go join the ACC or another conference and deal with it. I mean, you're in the SEC. You're supposed to be held to a higher standard. Beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and none of this is a problem.
All right. So everybo's got the singing out of their system, and they've turned their phones on silent. We're good.
I hope.
We're good. Everybody, we're a real professional operation here at the Lagnia-Pod. Anyway, on that note, we will take another break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some more about. We're going to talk about mayoral politics, city council politics, and then have a little fun with Christmas. So we'll be right back.
Just $6.50 a month for Mobile's daily news, Lagniappe Daily. Get signed up now at lagniappemobile.com and help keep Mobile funky.
We're back for the third and final segment of this very special Christmas episode of Lagnia-Pod, and we're gonna get right into it with municipal elections. So, as probably nobody knows or cares about, but I will talk about it anyway because it is kind of my job. We have a municipal election coming up in August of 2025, and so we're starting to finally see some names appear as candidates in the various races for those seats, and I'm sure it'll pick up after the holidays are over. But one name that has been on everybody's mind since Stimson announced that he wouldn't run again is Connie Hudson. And Scott, what happened? You wrote a story yesterday. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of behind the scenes movement happening. Connie moved an entire $150,000 in campaign money from her county commission seat and just moved it out of that campaign into some ambiguous account. Well, I guess it was filed last Friday, but she officially branded that account as a Mobile mayor campaign account. So, there's apparently some kind of pushback, and whether or not that's in a formal announcement. I don't understand how anything else could be any more formal than an actual campaign filing in paper. So, I mean, I know that you want to make a public, you want to have a press release, you want to have a big, party. I'm sure that's, an announcement, a press event. Yeah, that's kind of what you imagine when you roll out a campaign. But I don't know why, if they want that, why don't they wait? Maybe there's something I don't know in terms of fundraising that they want to do prior to that, and they needed to have that in place. I don't know.
It's just pesky reporters looking at financial records, right? Like that's why. I mean,
how long is it going to sit out there before someone figures it out? It's just inevitable. But didn't sit out
there very long before you got on it, Scotty. So So Connie seems to be in a race for mayor, and I know she's been making the rounds with various events. So clearly we are really on the verge of city election season starting. So Connie's going to absolutely be a name in that race. I think there's going to be several others. I think we've talked about Steve Nodine, or we've written about Steve Nodine.
And we've actually had more developments on Steve Nodine. You know, he has made his own announcements and shared his plans, but she is definitely entering into the race with him into the field. Now he's more up in the air in terms of whether or not he can actually qualify.
Right.
So he's actually gotten Alan Dershowitz on board with him to try and get basically bark up the executive branch, try and get a pardon. Biden's handing these out. He handed out like 1,500 a day or two ago. Some to some pretty interesting characters. Well, but, I mean, that always happens.
And a lot of those were marijuana people with marijuana offenses, correct?
Oh, that's interesting. There's a good chance, right?
Yeah, I think he actually handed out around 40 pardons. I think he commuted the sentences.
Commuted 1,500 something. Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's different. Yeah. That's different.
So a lot of those are former, public servants in some capacity. So, I mean, I don't know how, Steve Nodine doesn't fit that, prime example of one of those people. So, I don't know, we could see a pardon come down maybe. I think there's a good case that he's making for it, especially with, you got Donald Trump entering office as a, 34, 36 count felon. And then you've got, this president's son pardoned on basically the same charge. He's got a good case. We'll see what happens, but he's got till June 24th to do that. So Connie's definitely I think she's a very strong candidate for mayor.
Yes.
She's got a lot of wins under her belt. I do stand corrected on one thing I've said in the past, that she's never lost an election. I stand corrected. She has lost an election. 2006, she ran for state senate, finished third behind Rusty Glover and Chris Pringle, I believe. But she was in the city council. She didn't have to, drop her seat when she ran for that, I don't believe. But
right, yeah. And she won't have to resign her seat on the county commission to run for mayor either. So she's definitely picking her spots.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's that's her prerogative. She has every right to do that.
Another thing is, like, there was no time to change plans. Like, maybe some people want to, I don't know if there's any of this going on. Like, hey, why is Connie just reelected? And why did she even run again if she knew she wanted to run for mayor? The mayor announced he wasn't going to run in September, 2 months before, less than 2 months before this all, her reelection.
And my understanding is it was kind of a surprise to some of his staff.
Yeah,
so
I bet it was.
It's
a spur of the moment decision. I think a bunch of people had to pivot on the spot, and we'll see who announces.
That's going to be a really interesting race. It's been a long time since we haven't had an incumbent running for that seat, so that'll be fun. It's fun for reporters like me and you who get to write about all the people that are seeking office. Another such person in that category today is Bo Fleming, who announced yesterday in a press conference at Government Plaza that he is going to seek the District 5 City Council seat. Which is a seat currently held by Joel Davis, but he is not running for re-election. So that is going to be an open seat. I imagine that Bo will not be the first person who announces for that seat, or won't be the last person that announces for that seat. There should be several. It should be a pretty wide open field as well. So things are really starting to heat up as far as municipal elections go. And I'm getting pretty excited about it. And I hope you too. I hope everybody listening is too, because the municipal elections are very, very important.
I didn't have a chance to read your story, but I'm sorry to put you on the spot like this, but did he talk about why he decided to run, or a platform that he plans to run on, anything like that? Did he touch on anything like that?
He wanted, his he started off talking about the major projects for the City of Mobile, wanting to see those finished. Yep. The new arena, the move of the airport to Brooklyn, and of course the I-10 River Bridge. So we've got another advocate for the I-10 River Bridge on council, although I don't know of a single council person who's against the bridge.
What's his view on Amtrak?
He did not mention Amtrak, but that's a done deal now, right?
It is, yeah. I'm just curious, going from Joel Daves, who has been against it for all the time.
Yeah, Joel Daves even voted for it,
but I'm just curious.
What's his view on sidewalks?
Sidewalk?
Yeah,
he's a fan of sidewalks.
I just know Joel Davis is like a big champion of sidewalks.
He specifically mentioned sidewalks and walkability, which is things you want to hear from a city council candidate for sure. I mean, he's definitely speaking the right language to begin with. So real quick before we go, I wanted to talk a little bit, since this is the last one before Christmas, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Christmas traditions. And we're just going to go down, do a quick lightning round because we've got about 2 minutes left before we need to end this. What's your favorite Christmas tradition that your family does, Kyle?
My favorite Christmas tradition that my family does is...
Do I need to go back to you? Because you're just
We need to come back.
You're just...
need to come back.
You're doing that thing where the kid that didn't read the book report or didn't read the books trying to do the book report.
The book report that I'm about to write is about...
All right. Does anybody have anything?
I'm just going to jump in.
All right, go ahead.
My medicine's kicking in. I feel good. All right. So...
Go for it.
My favorite Christmas tradition at my family, we've got a big family, 9 kids. So we do a Secret Santa gift exchange. It's not economically possible to try and buy gifts for every single other person. So my dad actually has a spreadsheet that he's kept since like 2001. The same spreadsheet, and he's created this whole system. He's a geek, or as he would say, freak in the sheets, the spreadsheets.
Oh my God.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Heavens.
I mean, 9 kids too. It could be the other way.
I never thought about it like that.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, so it's very, nothing screams Christmas like Microsoft Excel. So it's like, anyway, but it's always funny. It's always funny to badger him. Like, hey, I think I got this sibling like 2 years in a row, and he'll like pull up the spreadsheet and prove you wrong. Anyway, but that's my favorite Christmas tradition.
All right. What about? I'll start. So every year when my family comes over, I make chocolate gravy. As I've said, I've talked about on the podcast. No one's ever heard of it. It's an Arkansas. I think it's an Arkansas Hills thing,
and it's a Mississippi thing too.
And a Mississippi thing. And my mom's family. It's all from my mom's family. Half of my mom's family is from Arkansas, and half is from Oregon. So that's where I got the. That's where I got the recipe from, is from my mom, and it is a fantastic Christmas tradition. I love making it. I literally bake it, and eat it once a year, and it's at Christmas, and it's fantastic. That, and I wanted to bring up something else too. My daughter had her Christmas extravaganza at school last week, and at the end they were going to sing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," but like, nobody knows the words apparently to "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" except me, because I'm a dork. So there was no mention of figgy pudding.
What?
There was no mention of "We won't go until we get some."
We won't go until we get some, Dale.
That song gets very aggressive at the end.
It does, because
like,
they're saying, "Give me my pudding. I'm going to come in your
damn
house."
figgy pudding.
When's the last time
figgy
pudding? When's the last time anybody made or had figgy pudding?
I mean,
that has to be
your favorite. It comes from your favorite country.
I mean, it goes from like, "We wish you a Merry Christmas" to "We're going to raid the Capitol."
Yeah.
We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. I've been standing out here singing for 45 minutes. I've got
If only Santa Claus had the courage to do what's right.
Yeah. Go in and get some of that figgy pudding. I'm actually ready for my tradition now.
Go ahead.
We don't really have a lot of traditions per se. There's no real rituals, except for the fact that we have always, for as long as I've been alive, we've always... Sorry, I got a little choked up there. We've always gone to my grandparents' house, my dad's parents' house, Christmas Eve morning to eat breakfast. And it's a country breakfast with ham that they splurged on that probably cost $10. Country ham that they have chosen to splurge and buy because it's Christmas. And
stop saying splurge.
Normally,
please.
Normally White Christmas would be on TV. It's a great
I do love White Christmas.
Great film. I love it. It's always 10,000 plus degrees in their house, even though it's like 60. They've got the fireplace going inside, so you're
it's absolutely sweltering.
It's sweltering, but it's a very nice memory. Times are changing, folks get old, and things change, but it's nice to look back on and cherish those.
All right, what about you?
Your family?
Well, my favorite tradition, and it really only involves me, pretty much, is once I'm the oldest grandchild on my dad's side of the family, and so once I got to the age where no longer got toys, you mainly just got cash or gift cards or whatever, my aunt thought it'd be funny to just make it almost impossible to unwrap my gift. That involved duct tape, it involved saran wrap. It's taken on many different variations over the past 10 years or so. And so I always look forward to what kind of new idea she's come up with this year. One year she sent me on a scavenger hunt, not only around my grandmother's house where we have Christmas every year, but at my own house. She had gotten my mom to participate in it. And so they hid things around the house, notes for me to find, and eventually found a $50 bill hidden inside of our mailbox outside. So I look forward to that every year and seeing what kind of new plan she's come up with. So
that's a really cute one. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's very fun.
That a lot. Does she do that with everybody or just you?
Just me.
Just
me.
Well, we'll touch you twice.
I don't know why. Like I said, I think it's just because I was the oldest and it was an opportunity to do something new and fun. I loved it the first year. I think I was 16 or 17 when it first happened, and she's just kept it going for the past 10 years. So it's fun. I look forward to it every year.
All right. Well, on that note, we will call it a holiday season, and we will come back, I guess, the
week after?
Yes, the week after Christmas for the podcast. Keep looking at Lagnia-Mobile.com for all the news updates that you'll get during the holidays. But as far as the podcast goes, this one's going to be it before Christmas. So check us out online. We really appreciate your support. Love you. Bye.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
The Lagnia-Pod is a Something Extra publishing production. Executive producers are Rob Holbert and Ashley Trice. Music is by Some Pulse Sound and Electro Animals. Only subscribers like you have access to this podcast. Tell your friends they can sign up at my.lagniappmobile.com. For advertising opportunities, please call 251-450-4466.